Harry, 40 yards. Just remember, shine hunters from the northward to the north. They'll be in our camp.
Yeah, die haka, baumketela.
Alare kila na, shirkola pi shnilo. With piga kitchina ha, vatia ho.
I will go.
Yeah. You watch it. Go ahead.
Yeah, protect Hitler. I have guns. Mazawaka, uta blue and yellow. Lila, uta blue and yellow.
At the foot?
Yes.
Akichita ote ekta.
Yeah, lina ka use yelo.
Mazawaka, one she with chasha, nupi, ipiki yellow.
We charge you washi kichi yayo. Naha you nachniko.
Ihasa kichi mani katela.
You nachniko.
It was hard to know how to feel. I'd never been in a battle like this one. There was no dark political objective. This was not a fight for territory or riches or to make men free. It had been fought to preserve the food stores that would see us through the winter, to protect the lives of women and children and loved ones only a few feet away. Stonecalf was a great loss, but even the old men could not remember such a one-sided victory. And I gradually began to look at it in a new way. I felt a pride I had never felt before. I'd never really known who John Dunbar was. Perhaps the name itself had no meaning. But as I heard my Sioux name being called over and over, I knew for the first time who I really was.
I want to stop the program right there towards saying what I need to say to my people. Yesterday, I took the guard check out of Weakley County. Yesterday, for the first time, I took the very flag that draped over my father's casket in his funeral and removed it from Weakley County and took it to another place that I found to be more attractive and more safe and more sacred. During the time that I was fasting and praying up at Land Between the Lakes, I had never felt so violated by being run out of the sacred site during the time that I was praying and fasting for revival and for peace upon to the earth. Yesterday, for the first time, I drank out of the cup that my brother drank from, that come from the First Baptist Church here in Martin, Tennessee. The Easter before basically my brother died, my brother and I went to First Baptist Church and was greeted with a warm welcome and was told to come back. But within about a 30-day period, I was handed a slanderous remark such as leave and don't come back. My brother David, whenever his eyes was opened, said, "Juby, that will be the last church that I ever go to." Whenever I first come back here, David found enlightenment in what I was involved in spirituality things. And he partaken in going to the Brother Rogers Church, Roger McPeak, pertaining to the Cowboy Church up the road. He liked it. He even took on a certain appeal after that I had left Brother Rogers' church and went to Central Church until they showed their ugly face. The cup that I drank yesterday, that was my brother's last cup that come from any of the pagan churches around here was bitter. The event that took place up in Land Between the Lakes, towards me being run out of the sacred site, was bitter. The event towards me having to relocate from an area that my ancestry has lived not one generation, not two generations, not three generations, but at least 5 generations right here in this area, was bitter. It brings great remorse and sorrow to my heart to think that I am being uprooted from an area that I loved. I loved the rivers. I loved the streams. I loved the trees. I loved the environment. But to think that I've come back here to be treated in such of a unloyal, disrespectful, brutal, heinous, cruel way brings immense heartbreak to my spirit. And Mr. Tommy Moore, the judge here in Weakley County, as well as Judge Parham, Tommy Thomas, the prosecuting attorney, the prosecutor, state prosecutor here, and especially the churches. I do hope and pray that you get a hold of this message, because it may very well be the last remaining message that I put out to this particular sector or this particular people in this particular area. To be hunted like an animal. To be run from what is rightfully yours. To either be ignored or to be slandered in the way that I have, has brought great grief up into my life, such as I cannot even explain. In my findings, I have found where the mighty Mississippi comes down from Minnesota all the way to Louisiana, to the Gulf. In one particular area right here, this is the Tennessee River that begins with Savannah, Parsons, and it goes on up towards Cuba Landing, up towards Springville Pump House, Paris Landing, and then LBL. For some reason, and I don't know if it was Nathan Bedrick Forest. You know, you keep in mind, Nathan Bedrick Forest is not on the west side of the Tennessee River. It's on the east side of the Tennessee River. You keep in mind, it was somewhere around Nutbush that orchestrated the assassination of Martin Luther King. For some reason, this area in here has become tainted, has become wicked, has become corrupt. Even 2 counties down below me, in Dyer County, over towards Dyersburg, has one of the highest percentage ratings of divorces amongst all the other counties in the whole state of Tennessee. That one area thinks it's cool to jump from bedroom to bedroom, to cheat, lie, corrupt, the commitment as well as the promise of 2 people binding together and becoming as one in holy matrimony. They think that it's cool to break their commitments and to dishonor God in such of a way towards all this wickedness that abounds. Mike Wilson, day before yesterday, whenever I drove up there to be able to get the incident report after my ex-wife had contacted that office, possibly going to file charges on me for harassment, simply because I left a courtesy call to either her or her mother to come in to that facility and see that that flag had not been dropped half-staff, though it had been mandated of doing so out of respect of Barbara Bush, opened my eyes in understanding just exactly what that I have truly been dealing with here in Weakley County, Tennessee. I even went so far as asking Mike, why isn't that flag dropped? And his reply was, well, maybe I just didn't know about it until a while ago. I have never seen so much backwoods methods in my entire life. And as I have said before, and I'll say again, continue on. Continue on your little games. Continue on trying to destroy Juby and Juby's character. Continue on making fun of Juby's heritage and Juby's name. And continue on with your little feisty little games pertaining to all these attorneys that lean towards the female species, that I tend to wonder anything that bleeds for 7 days and don't die. If this could have been possibly one of God's relentless mistakes by making the female, because she has become one of the wickedest environmentalists up onto this planet that I have ever seen, by using the tactics and the methods that they use towards crying and weeping and trying to get their way, and the whole time all they're out to do is satisfy themselves. I don't mean no disrespect to the female species, but whenever it comes to the games and the brutal tactics, they'll fall 2-1, hands down, towards being more wickeder than the male. 2-1. Whenever it comes to their trickery and their backstabbing and their throat cutting. And to think that supposedly good men like Tommy Moore, Judge Parham, Tommy Thomas, Mike Wilson, other law enforcement agencies around here has set back and allowed for man to be whittled on, ridiculed, taken advantage of, and yes, thrown to the wolves. To think that these law enforcement agencies has done this again and again and again, to not to thousands, but to millions here up into this country, is absolutely horrifying. What will be befallen upon to this area will be none other like that you have ever seen. And the casualties will be great. I tried to warn my people in 2005 and tell them that God had showed me that there was going to be a bloody road ahead. My advisories was ignored. Not only was they ignored, but they was interpreted incorrectly to the point that I was attacked simply by trying to help my people. Just like coming back here to 291 Thompson Road with full intentions of trying to help a group of people that needed help. They needed help physically, emotionally. They needed help with their drug culture, with their alcohol culture, and yes, the things that they had been taught incorrectly. Once more, I was attacked. This Bible Belt area, that they call the Bible Belt area, has become one of the wickedest, demonic, influential areas that I have ever worked in. At least if you go down to Florida, they don't discriminate. A matter of fact, the very place that I went into yesterday, after me working and setting up my campsite, I was dirty, and I know I must have smelled bad. But I walked into the restaurant, and I told the owner, I said, well, where's there a good place to eat at? And he said, right here. I said, well, I can't eat here. I'm not fit. And he looked at me and said, sir, we don't discriminate. I've been discriminated against. Right here in my own home county. My own home area. My own home nation. You thought that you had a free ride. You thought that you could basically hijack Juby and Juby's calling and being disrespectful and ignoring. You thought that there wasn't going to be a cost, that you could steal my goodwill. There's consequences in not brushing your teeth. There's consequences in not following the law. There's consequences towards doing my people the way that my people have been done. So let it be said. So let it be written. So let it be done. You have brought this upon to your own heads. Your schemes and your barbaric tactics will soon be exposed towards how badly that the English really disrupted this territory, this land, by bringing your ideology over here of hate the way that you have. Even this Confederate courthouse up here that has a cornerstone representing those same ideals, those same techniques, those same heathenistic, brutal, barbaric, idiotic ideals will be destroyed. And if God can't cure you, He will kill you. Is there any part of that that you don't understand, Mr. Tommy Moore? Is there any part of that that you don't understand, Judge Parham? Is there any part of that that your higher, upper rank state representatives, or your territorial representatives, or your Senate, or your Congress, or even your governor, is there any part of that that you do not understand? God will end this evil, demonic movement that began during the Civil War, one way or the other, even if He has to start all over again towards destroying all of it. And yes, that includes the innocent as well as the guilty, because to this day, still to this day, I have yet to get any type of an official apology from the way that I've been treated, going all the way back to Mr. Walter Bush. That today is fixing to put his loving, caring, generous wife to rest back into the ground where she came. I have never seen such heathenistic, evil, brutal, harsh, thank you for listening. Good luck to all of us as Miss Barbara Bush is put into the ground. In honor of the Bush family, I felt like that it was a good day to bring forth this message. Shalom to my people, and may her soul rest in peace. Take care.
Hey, Spivey, what is that?
Looks like he's following us.
I'm a shooter.
Folks, we got
Damn it, it's my shot. Hey, wait! Sit down first.
Look at that stupid bastard. He ain't even moving.
Wait a minute! That's my shot! Shoot him! He's standing there!
He ain't hurt, is he?
Shoot him!
He might have killed you.
He should have killed you. Anybody to come into this land and to terrorize it the way that it's been terrorized, he should have killed you. Thus saith the Lord. But you won't have to worry about it from my hand. But you will have to worry about it from God's. They think it's funny. They're entertained by bringing harm and hurt and unjust due. They have come in and raped and brutalized our people and brought agony and distress.